Welcome to the Spectacular Spoiler League. I'm the Pandan Superman, the mayor of Hype City, HazyRome, and as always, I'm joined by the Gotham Knight, the Prime Minister of Post-Production, DeepBoyce. And today we are here for an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Weekly One-Shot. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 5 is back in action. We got episode 1 and 2, and me and DeepBoyce, we're here to hit you with our top 3 power rankings, our top 3 characters from the show, as well as our top 3 bum asses from the season premiere of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. DeepBoyce.
Yep.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on their sci-fi grind, out in space, doing it up.
Loving it.
Okay? It's good.
I don't know if you know, but I love sci-fi. It's probably my favorite genre.
I do know you love your sci-fi, man, especially Marvel Cosmic. I know you love your Marvel Cosmic stuff.
I do. I like that way out there kind of stuff, if you know what I'm saying.
Word.
The weirder, the better.
I feel
the
you,
more
man.
alien, the better. And
there's definitely some aliens. I mean, we got the Kree. We've got these things they call them roaches. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like we got some alien stuff, and I have no doubt we'll see some more. But DeepBoyce.
Yep.
Episodes 1 and 2 of season 5, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Power rankings.
We're starting our top 3 power rankings.
Number 3,
DeepBoyce. Who you got?
By the way, guys, it's the episode's name. Both episodes put together. It's called Orientation. They're about to hit the. They're heading into school. Futuristic space school.
By the Kree.
Well, they pretty much did get schooled. I mean, all humanity got schooled, but
true.
Anyway, number 3 on my power rankings. I'm gonna be honest with you. This was a little tough one because I like a lot of the agents in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's a solid show with a lot of solid characters. Definitely. But I think I'm gonna have to go with Yo-Yo.
Yo-Yo Rodriguez, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Yo-Yo because she was kind of key and pivotal, and yes, obviously a lot of the other characters were important in this episode, but she's out there using her speedster powers, snatching some Kree data pad. She was holding it down for Mac. Mm-hmm. She was being a ride or die for Mac.
Yeah.
They were freezing her hands. Her hands are about to just break off, get all brittle. And Mac is like, stop! Don't do it! And she's like, no! Anything for you!
I like her as an addition to season 5, man. I like their relationship, man.
Yeah,
I like it, man.
She's grown on me. She's a cool character. And I think... Now, I'm not entirely sure if she... It seems this season she's a main character now.
Yeah, she's a main member of the cast this season, for sure.
And
they confirmed that.
And she definitely fits in like another piece of the puzzle. She's her own unique character, and she has her own dynamic with the rest of the characters.
No, I feel you on that. That's really true, because that's something I was looking for. And that was clear. It stood out. Like, she got her own jokes. She got her own way of joking. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? She had her own, input in the situation. As you said, she's pivotal in terms of her super speed. Also, like how they sort of explained her super speed a little bit more, even though we already knew context. We already have context to her powers, but there was a point where Mac was like, yo, can't you just speed out of here? And she was like, yo, remember, I snapped back to the position I started from. Mm-hmm. So she's like, that's not always... It's useful, but it's not as useful as you think. You know what I'm saying? It's not always very useful. So yeah. I like Yo-Yo, man. I think that's a good number 3, man.
Yeah.
It's a good number 3.
Absolutely.
That's a solid pick. My number 3, okay, is the original Inhuman on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. team. That is Daisy Johnson, for 2 reasons. Another person using her powers and using them effectively. I mean, she straight up she disintegrated
one of them cockroaches.
One of those roaches or whatever they calling them, man. Yeah. Like straight up disintegrated. So like it's incinerated. He was. No, I made up my own word. I was like disintegrated.
I like that word. Like, got disintegrated.
He got disintegrated, man, because he did not exist. Like, he was deactivated from life, bro. It's incinerated and deactivation. And then the other thing is, the revelation that she is the cause, according to one of the new characters this season, she's the cause of planet Earth getting wrecked. Mm-hmm. Like, it was wrecked. Like, we saw it. Like, only a piece of Earth is left. I was like, damn, Daisy out here beasting, son. She killed us all. I was like, planet ain't even inhabitable anymore, man. I was like, Daisy Johnson at number 3. I also like that she was sort of giving Coulson direction at certain points, just saying, suggesting what they should do in terms of how to proceed. It shows her growth. Because remember, Sky's the rookie, or Daisy's the rookie. Yeah. She was a rookie at Sky, you know what I'm saying? And now she's Daisy Johnson, expert fighter, expert combatant, inhuman, and valued member of the team. So number 3 for me, man.
Yeah, that's actually Daisy Johnson Quick is my number 2 in my power rankings of this week in One Shot.
Nice transition there.
Yes. And for all the same reasons you said, she was out there beasting, taking out the Kree, taking out those creatures, those cockroaches that they call them. Obviously being useful, like you said, on the field, and basically confronting Deke, which is one of the newer characters, one of these humans from the future that live on this space bunker, which is which hold the last vestiges of humanity, confronting him and kind of really seeing what's going on. Like we need you, or we have need of you. To really either get back to our time or to take care of the Kree or to fix this situation. And then, like you said, you find out Daisy is responsible some way, somehow, for the destruction of Earth 90 years ago. We don't know what happened. I've heard rumors that maybe this somehow, some way has to do with Infinity War, which is coming up, 2018.
Oh, can you give me a little snippet of something? I'd like to hear that. I'd like to hear this rumor. I didn't hear this. I mean, I heard you sort of mention it to me, but I didn't get a little detail. If you want to give me the SparkNotes version, I'm down to hear something.
I mean, I don't have any specifics.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how it went down, but it could be some sort of time gem shenaniganery here. Maybe we're looking at some sort of splintered future, like Days of Future Past type of thing going on here.
Sure.
Because it would be kind of weird, because Daisy, I mean, she's a major character in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but she's not a major character. She's not an all-A character in the MCU. For her to suddenly, I don't know, destroy the entirety of Earth to go berserk. I mean, her powers...
That's extra.
her powers are rather powerful, but for her to destroy the Earth, to leave it looking like that, I mean...
Yeah, that's a little much.
Yeah.
It's a little much. I mean, it could be a combination. You mentioned time. It could be a combination of not just the time gem, but the space gem. Because, when you think of time and you think of time being manipulated, it's usually called space time. Mm-hmm. So maybe space time in tandem, were used to warp or create a new reality in which this future exists. I mean, that would be a Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has had some really good tie-ins. This would be a fantastic way of tying in the events of Infinity War and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, Infinity War is coming out in May 2018. That's right around the time Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will most likely be coming to a close for their season. You know what I mean? That would be a great point. That would be a great point to integrate some Infinity War themes there, man. Yeah. But my number 2 this week, man, is the new character Deke. I mean, Deke was just I felt like he was a nice dose of humor, fitted well with the team. I just like the fact that he's really just trying to survive, man. Mm-hmm. And he's trying to wake these new people up. Like, yo, there's a system here, and you guys are messing up the system for me, and that's all I really care about. I'm looking out for number 1, and I just found him funny. That being said, there are some times where I'm like, Deke, they need to tone him down just a little bit, but I liked his over-the-topness. We're going to talk about Deke a little bit later. No doubt, and I'm sure you're going to talk about Deke too. Wouldn't be surprised. But he is my number 2. I like him as an addition to the team. He sort of feels like, and I've heard other people make this comparison, he sort of feels like, Star-Lord light in terms of his mannerisms and his banter with the team. Definitely someone who's got some brain power. He took the framework, remnants of the framework, and created his own place where there could be some escapism for the people, the survivors of planet Earth. Yeah. And I just thought that was really innovative. Yeah. And I thought, it took some ingenuity there. And it's very clear that him and Daisy, they're probably building towards some type of relationship there. But he's my number 2.
Yeah. I mean, he's the rogue. He's the rogue of the, episodes thus far.
Right. He's the rogue space guy. You know what I mean? Like, you always need that when you got a sci-fi show in space, man. You always need, like, the one who comes off as sort of an anti-hero or somebody who seems like a lowlife, but there's probably more to them than meets the eye. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, number 2, man, for me. So, on to number 1, DeepBoyce.
Number 1 on our weekly one-shot for episodes 1 and 2 on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the main man, Mac, the Mac Daddy. Mac, who very clearly served as us, the viewer, or at least me, DeepBoyce, the viewer, during these episodes. I mean, Mac is just fed up. Mac is just like, what the heck is going on? You got these cockroaches, we're out in space, magic, like what is going on? He no longer had any type of patience. And you can't blame him, given the way that last season ended off with him having to leave a virtual manifestation of his daughter in the framework. I mean,
and remember the last season, like for us, there's been a whole summer season and a good amount of fall that's passed. But for them, they just finished off with the framework. You know what I'm saying? Even though they've traveled 90 years, like they were in a diner one second and they're in the future the next. They were just getting past everything that happened in the framework.
Yeah.
And they're in another situation. It's like there's no time to breathe,
Yeah, and honestly, it's interesting that Mac was, when he was first introduced, he was not very trusting, but he was also, at one point, a bit of a pacifist. He was a guy that, he could whoop some ass if he wanted to, but he didn't want to.
That's a good point.
He wanted to just fix things and fix cars. He was a mechanic. Well, not a mechanic. I'd say he's more like of an engineer. Let me give him his credit. But in this, he's just straight up just like, listen, we're just taking these threats out. I'm punching this guy. I don't know who he is. He's all up in your face, Coulson, with this gun. I'm punching him.
Yeah, Mac is a fine choice for number one. He almost made my list this week. The only reason why he didn't make my list is only because I felt like for the 2 episodes, he sort of kind of fell to the back a little bit in terms of the banter, so to speak, in terms of him, voicing his opinion. But he was solid in the first episode, without a doubt. But my number one is the new, seemingly big bad, and that's Cassius. Okay, I literally bit my tongue to not say Cassius because that's how it's spelled. Okay, I was watching the subtitles. It's spelled Cassius, but it's Cassius. Now, the reason why he's number one, I normally don't reward a big bad with the number one spot on a power ranking early on, but his presence looms over everything that's happening right now for the human survivors. I mean, they are straight up struggling to survive, and it's all because of this dude Cassius. He's taking humans, he's having them be his servants. What he's doing is kind of sadistic too, where he puts something into your ear, some type of device into your ear, which makes you essentially deaf, except only to his voice.
Yes.
And that's just very manipulative thing to do. He's very obsessed with the appearance of his servants, and I don't know, there's something about him, this like over excessive, this like sort of sociopathic OCD. I thought was an interesting way to go. We'll see how much of a threat he is and how good of a villain he is. Yeah. I don't know. It just gave me the sense of a tyrant. Ruling over a situation. The way he was, simply calm in how he spoke and how he exuded himself. Like he was confident in his leadership skills.
Yeah, and he was effectively creepy as well. I mean, honestly, I think they called his subordinates overseers. Which that for me, those are big red flags right there as to what this is supposed to be an analogy for. And all the humans are basically his slaves, and he's like the slave master. And that adds he's kind of sinister. He's not kind of sinister. He's very sinister.
For sure.
And for a lot of people out there that maybe checked out Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, for example, he reminds me of this one character on there called Gul Dukat. He was like, they were Cardassians. The Cardassians are like major Star Trek villains, at least during that season. He reminded me, like, they're very kind of militaristic and just like tyrannical in the way that they handle the situation and how they subjugate other alien species. And he was very, but not just sinister, but also like this guy, he's like Thrawn. Like this guy, you could tell he thinks 10 steps ahead.
Right. Thrown from Star Wars. Yeah. DeepBoyce, man, let's transition over to our top 3 bum asses real quick. Who do you have as number 3? Who's your number 3 bum ass this week?
My third bum ass is the character Grill, who is on the space station. He's the one that puts in the markers in 3 of the characters. I think it's Coulson, Mac, and Yo-Yo. He's a bum ass because honestly, for a second, I thought, okay, well, maybe he's going to be, fighting for the cause. I didn't think he was going to be that conniving, where he basically got them stuck up on the wall. So while they were having this culling, this like killing massacre or whatever it was to kind of freshen up the population. He basically left them up to dry, so that when the guy came in, who we'll talk about later, or I'll talk about later, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. were basically cannon fodder, but it didn't turn out that way.
That's a good pick, man. I ain't gonna say nothing about that just yet, man. My number 3, okay, and I know this character was on my power rankings, but my number 3 is Deke, okay? Listen, just because you in the top 3 power rankings don't mean you can't have your bum ass moment.
This is the first. I don't think we've done this before.
This is the first time that someone has been in the top power rankings and also been a bum ass at the same time. And the reason he's a bum ass is because the first time he hears Daisy's name, he's like, Daisy? Pretty name, like the flower. And she's like, does that line actually work in the future? And he's like, apparently not. Like, he got G'd hard, man. He was like, Daisy? Pretty name, like the flower? She was like, no. She's like, nah. She's like, no, get out of here. She had none of that. My man got rejected. Dikembe Mutombo. She said, no, get that out of here. He got smacked verbally
but hey,
by trying to flip.
Regardless of Izzy, he was still smoother than Lincoln.
Lincoln was just one of the characters that I just cared very little about. DeepBoyce, who's your number 2, man? Who you got?
My number 2, again in reference to the character of Grill, is the character of Holt.
Holt, okay.
That's actually the name of the dude that ran for the shotgun while they were having the this whole... I wish I remembered the name. I should have wrote it down. But there was a specific name for this like refreshening thing that they were doing, where basically some people had to survive, they had to take a life. Yes. And he had the shotgun. And first of all, if you're the only one with a shotgun here, like this is just me thinking for like in a video game mentality here. Everyone else is scrambling, fist fighting. He missed so many goddamn times.
Yeah, he missed a lot of times. He missed a lot of shots.
I mean, you couldn't have like cornered somebody to save your ass. Like, just you have a shotgun.
The funniest part about him was that when the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would pin up on the wall, he walks past them and he's like, "Where's Grill? Where's Grill?" And I'm like, I know you want to kill Grill. I get that. But you literally have 3 people here pinned to a wall. Like, if I'm this guy, I'm like, hey, I need to kill at least somebody. If I end up killing another guy, I could be like, hey, man, I killed him by mistake. Worst comes to worst. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, man. Like,
he got owned hard body.
Yeah, he ended up getting owned anyway. So it's like, man, he deserves to be there. Good choice, man. Good choice, man. But my number 2, DeepBoyce, is someone whose presence loomed over the episodes this week, and that's Virgil, okay? Virgil was the king of just not giving straight answers. Like, he was that, like, sci-fi stereotype where you're trying to get answers out of somebody and they're just not being direct enough. He's like, bro, like, Coulson wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like they were asking random questions. Coulson was like, yo, explain to me like I'm a baby. He literally said this, like, explain to me like I'm a baby. And when Virgil's finally going to say something useful, he was like, you know, this will make a lot more sense when I show you ... And he never got to finish that sentence because one of the roaches put their claws through his freaking head, and I was cracking up when I saw that, just because it was so random. Like, he was talking, it was like, I was like, bro, you had mad time to actually be useful, and instead you weren't useful, and you got a claw to your head. Number 2, bum ass DeepBoyce. Let's move on. let's move on. Okay, let's move on, please. Who you got, man?
Unfortunately, we're not moving on. Because number 1 in my bum ass list is actually Virgil. So Virgil, you're getting roasted extra this weekend. I mean, you're not having it easy because you get knocked out by Mac, like hard body. You pop up when you first pop up, like Hazy said. You were talking all sorts of nonsense. You didn't make it.
I forgot he got knocked up by Mac too. Mac stunned him.
He knocked him out for like 20 minutes.
Slept his ass, man. Boy needed some milk after that.
I think Mac watched the Infinity War trailer for a little bit and just picked up some moves from Thanos. The way Thanos took out Tony Stark, that's just how Mac took out Virgil. But he took him out. He was a cornball. He was a weirdo. And then finally, when he's maybe it's starting to make some sense, one of them aliens comes in and just scoops him up.
And I'm telling you, when that claw went through his head, I was cracking up just because the way it caught him was like it was just, I was dying, bro.
Yeah.
I forgot Max, like he knocked the sense out that dude, man. Knocked the spit out of his mouth, man. My man needed some milk after that, man. Oh. But my number one is someone who needs to get punched by Mac. And that's your number 3, a.k.a. Grill. This man out here is a scoundrel, son. Son, like he's sort of like a taskmaster, so to speak. He's like someone who oversees, some of the humans in terms of the work that they do. This guy is someone who seems like he's got a stick up his ass, and he seems like he's always bugging somebody. You know what I'm saying? He almost got killed by your man Hulk because he was being disrespectful to him. He was being disrespectful to Tess. He told Tess, like, hey, next time, whatever job you do, it's double that you owe me, or something along those lines. And then she heard him, and he was like, what did I just say? And I was like, that's not necessary, sir. Then, you messing with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. here, man. You helped them out with all the while telling them, hey, you're going to owe me one for this. And then you end up pinning them against the wall to get them killed because you're like, yo, I got to live. I'm like, yo, that's some bum assery right there. I know survival, man, but damn. That's messed up. Yeah, that's cold. Man. So Grill's my number 1.
I knew this guy was nothing but trouble when I saw him, and I remembered, this guy was in the movie Constantine way back in the day. He was a character named Father Hennessy, and he got owned in that movie.
I will be surprised if he doesn't get owned in this movie, in this TV show as well.
He needs to,
because when you're building up the negative karma, the bad karma here, sir. Okay, you're about to get owned, Grill. Okay, you're gonna get grilled by the end of this, and when you get grilled, you're gonna be cooked. You're gonna be roasted. DeepBoyce.
Yes.
It's hype on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We're loving it. It's good. One of the best shows on TV right now in terms of comic book content. I can't wait for a future weekly one-shots for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But anyway, everybody, we're getting out of here, okay? We're going to go figure out this time travel situation so we can go help out the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because, let's be honest, they can't help themselves without us. We're the real heroes of this stuff. But before we do that, support the Spectacular Spoiler League by hitting the subscribe button and joining the cause. Hit that little bell icon to turn on notifications so you can be up to date with the latest and greatest coming from the Spectacular Spoiler League. And one more thing. Please drop a like on the video if you enjoyed anything you heard today, because we need you to help us get this video out here. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Peace.